guy I think that is most important to your entire team, especially offensively, is Kyle Tucker. Now, I mean,
No doubt.
he's
No
been
doubt.
better the last couple of games, so you're starting to get the feeling that maybe he's coming out of whatever funk he was in. Maybe he's feeling better, but he's really the only guy, say at times, but he's the guy that can take over a game offensively and can have the greatest impact, I think, not just on himself individually, but everyone around him. So
yeah, the thing about Kyle Tucker when the Cubs got him, and you guys know this, is that people talked about that dynamic, the team looking at him like they looked at Bregman.
Yeah.
And I remember at the time going, okay, should the Cubs go after Bregman or Tucker? You're not going to get both of them, but which one has that effect on his team? Well, one of them's still playing, and not necessarily because of anything he did, but now you get to this series. The ninth inning led me to stop breathing. I had been no breathing in the ninth inning. That ninth inning was damn near as Cubbish as you could get in terms of the old Cubs, and the gift of the call third strike. And then when have you seen batters hit consecutively in the ninth inning? When do you see that? It was so bizarre, and I'm sitting there going, no, not.
Sometimes we get this brief
called
there we go.
A ball instead of a strike. I think the counsel would have taken him out a batter earlier. Maybe you guys disagree.
Yeah, well, I thought that should have been in the calculus, but that
as soon as Merrill hits the home run, aren't you thinking about making a change?
Yes. Although it was a solo home run, he had pitched well. I didn't like him going out for the ninth. I didn't like him going out for the ninth.
Right, that's what I was saying, Mike, because I think the last time they've asked him to get more than 3 outs goes back to...
It was June.
I thought it was August. August of, I think I saw August 10th. But regardless, he has been a 3-out guy for the vast majority of the last month and a half.
Whether you're like a lot of people have said, well, he used to be a starter, so he's got multiple innings in him. It's a different animal when you're at the end of a game in an elimination series trying to shut him down. Like a lot of good closers aren't capable of shutting down a team for 2 straight innings. Right. So
remember, that's the problem. That's the problem in 2016 we got into with Aroldis Chapman.
Yes, multiple
What
innings.
should be asked of him at that point? And he's, look, they got through it. And what was, I guess, the most important thing to me when I look at the series is that the Padres were just a tick underperforming, and the Cubs, as I think they've been all year. You guys know I've been consistent on this. That's why I'm not critical of Craig Counsell, because I think that it takes a certain, God, I hate this word, culture and mindset to get people to perform as a group to their maximum level or close to it consistently. I think the Cubs have outperformed that roster. That roster doesn't scare me. I like it. But I like it in part because they've outperformed their level of talent to me. And I don't know if anybody would admit that. That's the kind of thing you find out after a season when you sit down with a manager at a bar somewhere and say, what do you think? And they tell you, I didn't think we played as well as we could have, or I thought we gave it everything we had every night. I think the Cubs do that. And that's what I'm most impressed with this team right through those 3 games.
By the way, this is an update on something that we were talking about before we brought you in, Michael. Jesse Rogers just tweeted, Craig Counsell says he's going to let his pitchers throw today, then determine a starter for tomorrow. Matthew Boyd is in play per a source. He started game 1 of the wild card round. So it would be short rest. Do you like going back to Boyd for game 1, or would you rather have him rest Sunday and then pitch on Monday?
Yeah, well, there's no Sunday, right?
Right, that's what I'm saying. So not only would you get the day off today,
you get
Saturday,
the extra day, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Silvy, I'm not a short rest guy. I don't believe in it. I know there are times historically when it's happened. Matthew Boyd is a veteran. If there's going to be a guy you would do that with, it would be Boyd and not Imanaga, not Cade Horton. But I don't like it. I don't like going short rest. I feel good about the Cubs against Milwaukee, because I feel you don't want to be the favorite facing a division opponent in these series. I really believe that. I believe that, I felt like this about the Cubs and Cardinals in 2015. I was certain the Cubs were going to beat the Cardinals in 2015. I feel similarly, not identically. Now, I think the Cubs have sort of an upper hand psychologically and emotionally, given what they were able to do in that 5-game series against Milwaukee in whenever the hell that was, August. I feel pretty good about that.
I mean, obviously, isn't your strategy different in a best of 5 versus a best of 3? And all those 3 games are played in your home stadium. Here, like what you're looking to do, I mean, sweeping would be great, but if you come back to Chicago 1-1 in this series, aren't you feeling really good about things? So that's why I'm saying,
no doubt.
So why not do whatever you can tomorrow and give Boyd that extra rest and throw him on Monday? And
Tommy, you and I are in the same place on that. Yeah. There's no point. You don't have to get the pressure in Game 1 is on the Brewers,
right?
Not on the Cubs. And so, yeah, let Boyd have that day. Who would you pitch in Game 1?
That's the problem. Like, what are their solutions? Do you go Colin Ray, who just pitched? Didn't Colin Ray just pitch in this last game an inning?
Yeah.
Or am I thinking not thinking of Ray?
No, 2 games too.
That was Palencia. Yeah. Okay. So maybe Colin Ray.
Sure.
Assad has been talked about. I don't trust Assad anymore. I don't know if you want Assad starting any game, but
Assad didn't get lit up. Did I miss us? Did he get lit up in that stupid Cincinnati series where they didn't even contest?
I got to double check.
Colin Ray only threw 15 pitches in Game 2. He pitched an inning and 2/3, but only threw 15 pitches.
Yeah, he could be on your.
See, I might go with him in Game 1, on a short leash. But you know, it's a tough position. I get it without Cade Horton because we wouldn't even be talking about this. But
Colin Ray,
I still think that they're in a good position. And listen, nobody knows. I think part of the reason that we're in a good position is nobody knows the opposition like Craig Counsell. I mean, he's as instrumental to their recent seasons of success as anybody on that team. So feeling pretty good about that as well.
Well, how do you feel right now about PCA? Do you think he's going to make his way back after the good game in Game 3?
Well, I think he's learning things. He's making adjustments. Listen, nobody cares more than the kid.
Yes.
And so I think that's all you can ask. He's still a young player. He's in his 2nd season. I'm not asking PCA to deliver me. But if he can contribute and make adjustments along the way, he clearly is amenable to coaching, right? To make the adjustments that he made yesterday. It was great when Jessica Mendoza during the broadcast was talking about PCA and the adjustments he made at the plate. Come on, man, that's veteran stuff. I was very impressed with that and the way he went about his work yesterday. Did he get 3 hits yesterday?
Yes.
I thought that I'm not gonna ask him to go out there and save the season. I mean, this is part of what I'm talking about this Cub team. Everybody contributes. And if he can continue to contribute in that way, he's going to be hell on the base path. I know he had an errant throw, but defensively, I'm with him. I want him. Dansby Swanson, if I can get him to stop swinging and missing so much. Dansby Swanson has done amazing things so far through 3 games. Just fielding. And, Dansby's not a 218 hitter. I mean, he's a guy who's capable of contributing offensively as well, though I'm not asking him to have a 3-home run series. I'm glad, Seiya, sort of found that with those 3 extra base hits. So I just think if people can do their part, they're enough, in the words of the great Bill Belichick, do your job. I think there are enough guys who can do that can take down Milwaukee.
If I know one thing about you, and I know many, but if I know one thing about you, one of your pet peeves is, not just with fans, but the media, is the hyperbole of nothing has ever been done better than this guy doing it now.
Yeah,
That said, have you ever seen a more dominant weapon than Mason Miller was in this series?
Oh, my God, he was great. But, Silvy, but we've seen that. I mean, when I say we've seen that, we knew that is what I meant to say. When they got him, the whole thing was, okay, the back of that bullpen is going to be unbeatable. You got to get a lead, which the Cubs did. They got the lead in the 2 games and won the 2 games. I mean, that's what it comes down to, because then he's not in a position to close you out. If I go back, I mean, there are times with Dennis Eckersley, and remember, closers didn't always just come in and pitch 1 inning.
Right.
I mean, there are great closers who stayed out there for 2 full. And Raleigh Fingers, I'm old, man. I can remember great relief efforts. So I'm not going with the we've never seen angle.
The velocity and the placement of the 103 in the upper up and in.
Didn't he go 104 on one of those? Did he go 104 in game 2?
And then he went low and away. It was like a tic-tac-toe game at 104 miles an hour. I've seen Chapman throw 104, 105, but never place the ball the way Mason Miller was putting the ball wherever he went. He was clearly unhittable.
But yet he's at home now.
Yes, he is.
And,
you're right.
I mean, Chapman, let's not take for granted Chapman's greatness like 3 different times. We're not going to see him in the rest of this postseason, which is kind of surprising. I mean, I thought Boston might win that series, even when that game was tied 2-2, the second game. I mean, Chapman was great. So I don't want to install Miller as the greatest closer I've ever seen. Bruce Sutter didn't play in that many important games for the Cubs. He did for Atlanta.
And the Cardinals.
But there have been some – and the Cardinals. Oh, my God, yes, of course. So he did, and he was – look, he didn't have that power. But placement, nobody ever had better placement over a series of years than Sutter. Or unless Eckersley did. And remember, Eckersley was a starter, so he didn't have that kind of power, but he had that precision. So I'm just glad. I'm glad, Mason's at home. Glad the Cubs are still playing. Who's Milwaukee? Is Peralta going in game 1?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the Cubs struggled. The Cubs did beat Peralta in that 5-game series, if my memory serves me.
Peralta faced the Cubs 4 separate times this year. In 2 games, he shut them down. In other 2 games, the Cubs hit him. The Cubs have hit him. So I got to tell you,
so,
I think the guy that is instrumental here, and this is I'm the master of the obvious here, but the guy I think that is most important to your entire team, especially offensively, is Kyle Tucker. Now, I mean, he's been better the last couple of games, so you're starting to get the feeling that maybe he's coming out of whatever funk he was in. Maybe he's feeling better, but he's really the only guy, say at times, but he's a guy that can take over a game offensively and can have the greatest impact, I think, not just on himself individually, but everyone around him. So
the thing about Kyle Tucker when the Cubs got him, and you guys know this, is that people talked about that dynamic, the team looking at him, like they looked at Bregman.
Yeah.
And I remember at the time going, okay, should the Cubs go after Bregman or Tucker? You're not going to get both of them, but which one has that effect on his team? Well, one of them still playing, and not necessarily because of anything he did, but now you get to this series where you've got something, more reasonably close to a real baseball series. I know it's a shorter one, 3 out of 5, but Tucker, Tucker needs to have that impact and influence on his teammates. They need to look to him that way, because who else would it be? It's not Seiya. We just said, I believe that PCA is too young for that. That's what
he needs it for the team. He needs it for himself as well. I mean, he's going in
considering what he's
agency.
playing for.
Yeah,
considering people are throwing around crazy numbers of $400 million. If you're that guy, then you're that guy now.
Right.
Don't tell me how good the Brewers are. If you're that guy, you got a manager to me who gives you an edge. You got a starting staff that just shut down an opposing lineup, because they did nothing against the Cubs in games 1 and 3. So you got a starting staff, which is the equal of, to me, I know they're 5th in the National League, but they're the equal of the Dodgers and Phillies, which are, I think those guys are 1 and 3. So we need Tucker to be that guy now. This first weekend, they need to get a split, and he needs to do something that sort of rallies and inspires that team. I agree with you completely.
All right, Wilbon, enjoy a Bearless weekend. And next week we'll talk about the Bears against the Commanders, which is going to be a juicy game.
Well, so we got nothing Sunday. We got no Cubs and no Bears on Sunday.
It's an off day,
It's going to be very nice just to sit back and relax and give your nervous system a break.
No, that's too much. That's too much relaxation.
No,
That's,
no such
need
thing.
some stress.
No such thing. No such thing as too
All
much
right, you
relaxation.
guys.